Hello guys, so this is our first lesson for Mathematics 10, and this one is the copy of the some pages of the book that you actually need. So what we're trying to do is we're getting different resources from different books, and then I'm collating it, and that will be our resources. Okay? Uh this is part of the restriction that we're having right now because of the coronavirus. And the first lesson in math that we're going to do is all about math and about functions and relation. Everything, all right, and um you can read all of this. You can read all the pages of the book. It will really help you to understand it better. But I will not go to page by page of this book. I'm expecting you that you're gonna do it. Most of this book is actually more on investigation, so I'm gonna be asking you to conduct investigation every now and then we're gonna have presentation. So we are actually not only enhancing your mathematical skills, but as well as your language, your investigative skills. That's the one that we would like to develop. What are the concepts here? So the concepts that we would like you to learn is all about relationships and representation. So everything that surrounds us is a relationship. So for example, I have a water. I have a water. If for example, am I going? If I drink hot water at night, how would it helps me? There's a relationship between drinking hot water and cold water at night. All right. So representation. How will you represent function? So symbolism or symbols, and then we're going to discuss about like micro concepts. Micro means small, so we're going to have a small like micro concepts or detailed discussion of functions, about mapping, about input, output, domain, range, composite function, inverse function, identifying function, one-to-one function, self-inverses, and variables. What are the examples? All right. What are the examples of function, of relationship? So these are the different one. How far will the car drive on a fuel tank? In a full tank, I think this one is wrong. This should be full tank of fuel. That's gonna be full. Okay. How far will a car drive on a full tank of fuel? So, well, if you have full tank, would you travel around 100 kilometers or like 200 kilometers? I don't know. All right, that is actually part of the study. Is the relationship between runner and water the same as car and fuel? So what's the relationship between the car and fuel? Like if you have a lot of fuel, then you can travel longer. Does it mean that if you drink a lot of water, you can run longer? So it's up for you to think about it. Now, the next one, for example, is that can shadows be modeled? So as you can see in this picture, so like the shadow of the tree, it depending on the time, it could be longer, it could be shorter, depending actually if the sun is on top at 12 o'clock. So you're gonna see that the shadow of the tree is almost too little and just under the tree. And then as it moves around at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, then the shadow of the tree is actually very long. So can you model that one using a function? So that's the type of things that involves functions, that involve pattern. Okay? Now, what kind of relationships exist between two quantities or variables? What's the relationship, for example, of if you buy, if you take more appliances, so what will happen to your electricity? So the number of your appliances and the consumption of electricity, like there is a relationship between the two. And in math, that's the one that you would like to find the relationship. Or for example, the number of people live in the house, or live in the house has something to like has an impact to your water bill. Okay? If for example you eat a lot at night, can you easily sleep? So there are two variables, and you would like actually to find the relationship between these two variables that is part of function. So basically, a function is any pattern in nature. Remember that mathematics is the language of nature. It's a universal language. All right, it's a language by itself. It actually explains the phenomenon that surrounds us. In economics, we have discussed this last time, like the relationship between the demand, the supply, and the quantity. And we are not going to go to that further, but that's actually a good thing to know that some of or most of the components of these lessons are actually more on investigation. Now, these are some of the knowledge that you're expected to know. All right. We are expecting that you actually knows how to plot the coordinates. So, and just some sort of review. So let's say the points 1, 4 is the coordinate. They are called all coordinates, and that's actually composed of the x and the y. So the 1 is actually 1 unit, that is 1 there, and 4 meaning going up. So that is that one there. So that's 1, 4. While the b is negative 2, 4, meaning 2 to the left and 4 going up. So that is that one. 2 to the left and 4 goes up. Then you end up there. Alright? And then you have 0, negative 3. 0, just on 0. And then go down to negative 3. So that's it. So we are expecting that you actually knows how to plot before you start this lesson, because that is actually important. That is very basic. Now, plot the points 5, negative, the points S, T, 0, and list the coordinates of each point on the grid below. So this one is actually a question, so you can just try it by yourself. Something that like this, guys, you actually need to do it. You actually need to do it beforehand. And then if you don't understand, try to review what you have learned before in grade 9. Alright, I think you have learned that one in grade 7, that plotting. Okay, next. Another stuff that you need to know is this one. Alright, so I would like you to review all of this. Okay, substitute values into the expression. Actually, what you need here, for example, you know that x equals 1. You know that x equals 1, y equals 3, z equals 1 out of 2, or 1/2. So you just simply plug in those values of x and y there, and then just simply substitute, or just simplify it. So if x equals negative 1, so 2 times negative 1 squared minus 5 times 3, and then negative 1 squared is 1, then minus 5 times 3, then you have your negative 13. Again, what am I trying to tell you is that this sort of stuff, like skills before you start, you actually need to remember them. Okay? You actually need to remember them. And then you have your xy minus y. So if x equals negative 1, y is equal to 3, just plug it in. Then negative 3 minus negative 3 is negative 6. Alright? So you need, these are all basic on integers, and I'm expecting that you memorize them. So because these are very basic, okay, I'm expecting that you know all of this. 8z squared, 8z squared, if 8 equals z equals 1 half, so 8 half squared, 8 times 1 out of 4. Remember that 1 out of 2 squared means 1 out of 2 times 1 out of 2. And when you multiply, that's actually 1 times 1, and then 2 times 2, that will give you 1 out of 4. So, and then you have, for example, if you have 8 times 1 out of 4, you just simply need to multiply 8 times 1 and then over 4. You don't, because this one is over 1. Alright? If it's not written that over 1, it means it's over 1. So 8 times 1 equals 8. 1 times 4 equals 4, and that's the answer. Okay? So basically what I would like you to do is try to do all of this one as an activity. So this is going to be, because this one is like, okay, this is only an introduction, so I'm expecting that you're going to try to read until page 64, and then I would like you to answer this investigation. How would you answer this one? Various relationships are sorted into 2 columns below. Compare the relations in each column. So you have your column A and column 1 and column 2. So what I would like you to do is try to look at the 2 and compare them. Alright? Write down your observations. Where are you going to write down? So you have your A to F, like any observations that you saw, that you see, then you write it to the form. Where can you find the form? It's actually in the Google Classroom. So let me just go to what do you call this one, to my Google Drive. I'm gonna post this one in Google Classroom. So after you, where is it? I think it's just here. I should say about recent. There you go, this one. So I'm gonna post this one in Google Classroom. So there are letters A to F in that page. I think it was page 63 in that investigation, or page 65 in that investigations. And then I just want you to write down here your answer. So for example, like in column 1, for example, like is the are the y values repeated? Are the x values repeated? In column 1, what can you say about the x? In column 2, what can you say about the x? So just write all your observations on each letter, okay? And until you finish letter F. If I were you, you type your answer here, alright? So it's easy for us to check your work. Okay, so that's all for this introductory video. Again, I am expecting that you're gonna read from the beginning until page 64. Alright, and then you try, is it page 64? Let me just try to look at it again. So that is actually until, what page is this? Until here, page 65. So you're gonna read. Alright, so I would like you to read from this page all the way up to here, and this, the 2.1 is your homework. Alright, that's your homework investigation, while this page 64, page 63 are some of the skills that I'm expecting that you actually know before. Alright, so that's all for this video, and have a good day and goodbye. Please read this one during Sundays, okay? Bye bye.